It's feeling like October out there because we know for us here in Central California, it's Santa Ana wind season. And we do have a Santa Ana wind event kicking up today, wrapping around this high pressure, those breezes pushing in from the desert and clearing a lot of the smoke from the desert and mountain areas. That's good news for your air quality, but that's where the good news ends. It's hot, breezy, very dry up there. This is a fire threat, especially down to our south where those Santa Ana winds are really picking up later today. There's a fire weather warning just south of Fraser Park. Obviously, no warning here at home doesn't mean that we're out of the woods. You still need to take it easy out there. We're at 68 here in Bakersfield. It's the same as yesterday. We've had moderate air quality overnight, but watch how the cleared smoke out of the mountains just swirls around here in the valley. In our smoke forecast, we're not going to get a huge break, so it's expected to be unhealthy for sensitive groups today, even with the winds. The Kern River Valley thankfully getting a break in the smoke that they've been dealing with for so long now. It's been almost 2 months at this point, but it's a short-lived break as this high pressure continues to stay in control over Oregon the next couple days, and this surface high pressure is in control near the Great Basin. It leaves us hot and dry and smoky and stagnant well into the beginning of October on Thursday. There's a low pressure system coming on shore over Northern California Saturday into Sunday. A little cooling, but nothing cool about that forecast. At least there will be some westerly breezes to work to push in some moisture, push out some smoke, but we're expecting to stay hazy with an air quality alert in effect as long as these fires are burning. Those 80s next week, again, better, but still above average. In the Kern River Valley, I've taken hazy off of the board for you for today, but those dry desert breezes leave you at 94. Tehachapi and Fraser Park, low 80s. And again, we're calling it breezy because we're shy of needing a wind advisory, but it will be blustery, and those humidity levels only 10 to 20%, dangerously dry today. The smoke fills right back in for the week ahead, and you're seeing plenty of 90s out there for the Kern River Valley, 80s and above average for the South Mountains. Let's now talk to CHP Officer Robert Rodriguez for a look at our traffic this morning. Hey, what's the latest?
Hey, thank you very much, Elena. Good morning, everybody. Through Bakersfield, still a very good traffic commute. As you get ready to head out the door, again, our local freeways, Highway 99, Highway 58 right now, flowing nice and smooth. Earlier, we did have a little bit of slowing, so just keep that in mind. But again, for the most part right now, still flowing nice and smooth through town. And then, again, no crashes to report, so good news there as well. That's my look at traffic. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Still to come, Krispy Kreme has another deal for its customers. How sports fans can take advantage of this sweet offer coming up.
Plus, we're talking jobs. Target is changing its hiring process this year. We'll have details on the latest demand in customer service. 6:20. This is 23 ABC.
Welcome back. The grandchild of NFL Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Montana is safe after an alleged kidnapping attempt at their home in Malibu over the weekend. According to authorities, Montana and his wife confronted the intruder. Montana told deputies that his 9-month-old grandchild was asleep on Saturday when an unknown woman entered their home and grabbed the child. After a tussle, Jennifer Montana reportedly pried the baby out of the woman's arms. The woman fled the home and was later arrested. She faces kidnapping and burglary charges.
All right, mark it down. Amazon Prime Day is set for October 13th and 14th. The 2-day annual sales event usually happens in mid-July, but it was postponed due to the pandemic. It's Amazon's version of Christmas in July. Yeah, the sales apparently routinely outpace that of Black Friday. Amazon Prime Vice President Jamil Ghani says the company thinks Prime Day will be even bigger this year. Amazon has thrived during the pandemic as consumers purchase more goods online and limit store visits.
High Street will be closed to traffic beginning today in an effort to help local businesses. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, indoor dining has not been permitted, and many restaurants have been relying on outdoor dining. In downtown, there's limited space for most restaurants. Earlier this month, Wall Street Alley was turned into outdoor patio-style seating for several restaurants. The city will now block traffic for eateries looking to expand their outdoor seating.
It's a good idea. Anything to get the businesses open. I see a lot of big businesses open, but the small ones can't, which is, I don't think it's fair. So if anything that helps our local businesses open up, families get back to work, employees, I think it's a great idea. I don't think it's an inconvenience to anybody. I think we're all for it.
The closure will begin this morning at 8:30. Restaurants with approved COVID-19 special event permits will be allowed to participate. No parking signs will be displayed in the area. The city says although the closure is temporary, it will remain in effect as needed for restaurants to operate outdoors.
Human resource experts say by now companies have figured out the logistics of working from home, and now it's time to focus on mental health, which means protecting its workers from things like burnout, loneliness, and isolation. Some companies are giving access to mental health professionals, while others are looking into tracking how many hours employees work and sleep. The chief researcher at Gartner HR says employees are about twice as likely to be comfortable having this information tracked than they were about 5 years ago. These types of programs will likely become more popular. And Target's making changes to the way it hires for the holiday season. It's shifting a majority of the hiring to contactless services. For example, Target says it will have double the number of people working in the order pickup and drive-up areas. It's also adding more seasonal workers to distribution centers. In all, Target says they plan to hire 130,000 seasonal workers this year.
The Major League Baseball regular season is officially over, and it's now time to crown a champion. The playoffs are set, and both the American League and National League will have 8 teams vying to make it to the World Series. So beginning tomorrow, you can catch some of the postseason action right here on 23 ABC. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we will air those games starting at 11 a.m. That means there will be no 11 a.m. newscast on the air, but we will have a digital newscast. There's still much more to come in our next half hour. A former campaign manager for the Trump administration is in the hospital this morning. Details on why he had to be taken to a mental health facility coming up.
Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News starts now.
A report in the New York Times claiming to reveal a glimpse into the president's tax records. We'll tell you what it reportedly found as we head into the first presidential debate.
And a woman lies in critical condition this morning after she was shot by a 2-year-old in Northwest Bakersfield. We'll have those details.
Plus, yet another wildfire. Buildings reduced to their foundations. We'll take a look at the glass fire as it burns through wine country. Andy, good morning once again. Thanks for staying with 23 ABC News at 6:30. We still have a lot to do. I'm Mike Hart.
I'm Danielle Kernkamp. Let's start out with a check of your forecast on this Monday. Not good news for those wildfire conditions, right, Elena?
Yeah. That's exactly right. We have a Santa Ana winds event setting up, so it's going to fan the flames of the existing Bobcat fire to our south, and any new fires that potentially spark today quickly grow out of control with conditions like this. This fire weather warning, also called a red flag warning, in effect for the mountains just to our south. You're not seeing one lighting up here in Kern County, but we need to stay very fire aware today. These dry offshore winds will come gusting through, heating us up, drying us out. The nice thing about this is it does push a lot of the smoke out of our mountain communities, but it just swirls it around here in the valley instead. So with that, you see that futurecast showing how warm we're going to get this afternoon, trying to push to 100 here in Bakersfield with 99 for the forecast. We'll talk more about it in a minute, but for now you're waking up to those 60s in the heart of the valley, some 70s into Kernville. Look at the 60s for Tehachapi, 57 in Fraser Park. That sounds pretty nice right now, but at this time last week you were in the 40s. So to be in the 60s shows you how warm and dry it is already, and we'll continue to warm up with some 80s in that Tehachapi and Fraser Park forecast later today. Mid 90s in the Kern River Valley, clearing air quality, which is good, but it just pushes that smoke down here into the valley as we face that 99 for Bakersfield. Let's talk to CHP Officer Robert Rodriguez now for a look at your traffic. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Elena. Good morning, everyone. If you're just joining in, it has been a very nice traffic commute all morning. And again, right now, still no crashes to report or any major problems or incidents throughout Bakersfield and Kern County. So good news there. And then for those of you who are leaving town, again, all of your major routes are open. And please eliminate your distractions while driving. That's my look at traffic. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
We are one day away from the first presidential debate of 2020, and a new report from the New York Times is shedding light on President Trump's taxes, saying he paid $750 in federal income taxes the year he ran for president and his first year in the White House. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze is in Washington with the latest.
This morning, President Trump's personal finances in the spotlight. The New York Times saying it obtained more than 2 decades of tax returns for the president and his businesses, uncovering years of data that he went to great lengths to keep hidden from the public. The documents, which have not been seen by ABC News and have not been revealed by the New York Times to avoid unveiling its sources, reportedly show the president's business empire hemorrhaging cash. The newspaper reporting President Trump paid just $750 in federal income taxes in both 2016 and 2017, and no federal income taxes in 10 of the past 15 years, because he was losing more money than he made. The president responding late Sunday.
Totally fake news. No, actually, I paid tax, and you'll see that as soon as my tax returns. It's under audit.
The Times report also says lobbyists and foreign officials paid top dollar at properties like Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort and his Washington hotel. Possible conflicts of interest because the president did not divest from them when taking office. The president's tax write-offs over the years include more than $70,000 for haircuts while on The Apprentice, nearly $96,000 paid for Ivanka Trump's favorite hair and makeup artist, and approximately $2 million for Trump and Donald Trump Jr.'s legal defense. In a statement to ABC News, the Trump Organization says in part the story is, quote, riddled with gross inaccuracies. Over the past decade, the president has paid tens of millions of dollars in personal taxes to the federal government. Joe Biden pouncing, his campaign rolling out these stickers last night and telling CNN,
I think it contributes to this larger sense that we have from Donald Trump that he looks down on working people.
President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden are set to face off in the first presidential debate tomorrow night in Cleveland. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Meantime, President Trump's former campaign manager is receiving treatment, apparently under Florida's Baker Act, following a reported suicide attempt. Fort Lauderdale police confirm Brad Parscale is getting help under a law that allows the detention of a person who's having a mental health crisis. They say his wife called 911 on Sunday indicating her husband was armed and threatening to harm himself while barricaded inside their home. He eventually surrendered to police. The president demoted Parscale after the Tulsa, Oklahoma rally. Campaign spokesperson said the organization, quote, loves him like family and will support him through this time.
And President Trump's Supreme Court nominee is stirring up controversy after he promised that the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett will, quote, go quickly. The open seat previously held by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has many believing Barrett's conservative views will tip the court. This as it reviews cases involving things like health care and abortion access. A poll from Siena College and the New York Times shows 56% of voters believe the winner of the November election should be the one to fill the empty seat.
Some House Democrats plan to introduce a bill to set an 18-year term limit for Supreme Court justices, which would end lifetime appointments. It's largely symbolic to the high-stakes battle right now in Congress over the Supreme Court vacancy left by late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The legislation, according to experts, has no chance of passage in the Republican-led Senate. The proposal comes as Senate Republicans are trying to fast-track a successor to Ginsburg and preserve a conservative majority for a generation. The bill will be formally introduced tomorrow.
A woman is in critical condition after being accidentally shot by a 2-year-old in Northwest Bakersfield. According to the Kern County Sheriff's Office, the incident happened at about 8:30 a.m. Sunday at an apartment complex on Norris Road. KCSO says the 2-year-old found a handgun inside the home and accidentally shot a female relative. That woman was rushed to the hospital where she remains in critical condition. It's unclear where inside the home the child found the weapon or where the parents were at the time of the incident.
The Kern County Sheriff's Department needs your help to locate a missing 14-year-old girl. Take a look at your screen. This is Gabriella Martin. She was last seen in Tehachapi on September 10th. KCSO says Martin's a white female, about 5'2", 125 pounds, with hazel eyes and brown hair. According to KCSO, she could be in the Bakersfield area. Now, if you know where she is or you think you may have seen her, you asked to call KCSO at 861-3110. Meantime, 2 rapidly burning fires are causing havoc in Northern California. The Zog fire in Shasta County scorched thousands of acres on Sunday in just a matter of hours. A red flag warning is in effect for most of the state due to hot, dry, and windy conditions, making it some areas especially vulnerable to the flames. The Zog fire has burned 7,000 acres so far. Road closures and evacuations are in place. At last check, it is 0% contained.
And the glass fire has forced residents in the heart of wine country to evacuate. Authorities in Napa County say the fire was first reported at about 4 a.m. Sunday. That's when deputies raced through the neighborhoods trying to alert people to the danger. Fire crews have been using tankers and choppers to attack the fire from the air. Videos on social media show a number of houses and structures burning. The glass fire has already scorched 2,500 acres in an area that's home to dozens of wineries. That fire is 0% contained. And people PG&E officials sent out a warning overnight for a power shutoff for the state, including Kern County. PG&E says it will affect up to 15 customers here in Bakersfield. If you zoom in on their map at pgnealerts.com, you can see that it's supposed to take effect at 7 a.m. today, and power is supposed to be restored by the end of the day. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Elena Rusk, because these conditions today make for this PSPS. It's going to get very hot and dry out there.
Exactly. Those Santa Ana winds coming barreling in from the desert. It does help clear the smoke out from our mountain communities, but it's about the only good part of this wind event. You can see here on the valley floor, our air quality readings since midnight have been in that moderate range, getting pretty close to being unhealthy for sensitive groups. And that's where that forecast goes this afternoon at 108 on the index. So why is it getting worse? Well, those desert winds coming barreling through and pushing that smoke out of the mountains and down here into the valley, where it's going to swirl for the rest of the day. Unfortunately, these very dry winds leave us with only 10 to 20% humidity levels, and they fan the flames of existing fires, particularly the Bobcat fire to our south. They have a red flag warning in effect today because we are so concerned about any spark causing a new fire that quickly grows out of control with conditions like this. So we're still dealing with some light to moderate smoke from many locations. The Kern River Valley has had terrible smoke for the last several weeks. It's been about 2 months now that we've been dealing with this smoke. But as you see that offshore wind come barreling through, it's helping to clear out your air quality up there. So the Kern River Valley finally getting some relief from the smoke, but the dry winds make it uncomfortable, enhance how hot and dry you are out there. And like I mentioned, it just swirls the smoke here on the valley floor. So we're facing a high of 99. As a result, if we get to 100, it's not a record breaker, but it's so hot for this time of year. And I'll show you the 10-day coming up. If you need to get out the door right now, though, CHP Officer Robert Rodriguez has a look at your traffic to help you get there safely. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Elena. Good morning, everyone. Through the Bakersfield area, still very good traffic commute, but out near Taft Highway at Highway 43, we do have a crash working out there. Still receiving details on this incident, and it looks like the roadway is also blocked. So use caution if you're heading out that way this morning. Here locally through Bakersfield, still a very good traffic commute, and our roadways and freeways here through the greater Bakersfield area flowing nice and smooth. That's my look at traffic. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Still to come, if you're looking for work, we've got details on who's hiring. We'll tell you who's serving up some openings straight ahead.
And stay with us. We'll tell you a little bit more about what and if you're doing something wrong while on the job hunt. That's next in Kern Back in Business.
6:43, welcome back. Are you having trouble getting a response from an employer while seeking a job? Are you taking those video interviews seriously? Well, this week, Josh Connor from Job Fest for our Kern Back in Business segment is in the hot seat, here to tell you what you may be doing wrong in your job search. Josh, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
What is the big problem that people seem to be having?
The biggest problem that I've been told by my employers is taking the video interview too casually. This is a new world. This is a new job.
I'm sorry, from the way they dress or the way that they respond?
A little bit of both, and the way that they prepare. Employers can tell if you just walk in and you hit join call and then you start shuffling around your paperwork and stuff. Your stuff should be prepared. It should be as if you're face to face with that employer. You should be dressed. You should be teeth brushed. You should be ready for your day on these interviews. None of the important stuff has changed. Your skills, your abilities, that's all the same. But we have to showcase that now through these videos.
Then the other thing that I've seen a couple of times here and there is things like in the background going on while you're in this.
Absolutely. Like you see it in my background, there's nothing going on.
Nothing on your TV, nope.
And no TV's on. I had to turn it off for the show. But you have to pay attention to your background. Again, employers are looking at this. If you have a bunch of pictures of your kids in the background, let's say, employers are going to know now that you have a bunch of kids. Some employers take that as you have baggage. Kids are sick. Kids are homeschooled now. So are you going to have to stay at home? Or are you going to be able to work in the office? So again, preparing your stuff the night before, having a notebook and a piece of paper about the stuff that you want to talk about, that's very important in these job interviews.
And one more thing is on this line of questioning, I'm just kind of curious about when it comes to the job and everything is also, because you're doing all of this, as you just mentioned, through the video networking, at some point we assume that we're going to be going back to some type of face-to-face type of situation. Is there anything that you can do while you're in the video, maybe to make yourself more presentable as a possible someone thinking, yeah, they'd probably be good in person too?
Again, just the way that you pronounce yourself, the way that you show excitement for the job, it's how to answer those questions, and don't pass up any job